pages. All right, good afternoon. See one person on. Can you let me know that you can hear me okay? Can someone let me know if they can hear me okay? Good morning, Julian. Thanks for joining. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Thank you. Seemed like there might be a little bit more lag this week, at least based on the delay in your response. So we'll just have to deal with that. It looks like it's about 25 seconds, so it's a little bit more than usual. All right, but I'm gonna get going here. It's 12:03. Had a few other people on before, but looks like it's just you now. So we will start as usual. Let's go over to the economic calendar. Huge week this week. Big week. A lot of data points, almost every single day, really. So on Monday, you got the 10-year note auction. So that's just something to be aware of, to keep an eye on that. Lately, the auctions have been a selling point for the market. The auctions haven't gone real well, so something to be mindful of. Tuesday, really big core inflation, but there's not that much of a difference between previous month and what the forecast is. So last month core inflation was 4, and they're expecting 4% again, and the inflation rate for just the headline is 3.2 down to 3.1. So small decrease again. So, I think if that happens, market's going to react positive. And then also on Tuesday, you also had the 30-year bond. So another auction coming in. Wednesday, you got PPI. That'll be really important. They are expecting, so last month we had a 0.5% decrease, expecting a slight uptick. So I don't think that's going to be enough to really cause a scare in the market. And then usually this is the big one is FOMC, but I would think that there's probably got to be about a 99% chance, maybe even a little higher, that they're just, they're going to do nothing. It's going to stay at 5.5. So, but I think the bigger one will be the press conference, Powell speaking, and just the tone and the words that he used. Like if he gives any indication that they are no longer thinking about doing any more rate hikes, and that maybe into 24 that cuts will be. I don't think he'll ever show his hand on like when cuts might be coming, but if he gives any hint that they feel that no more rate hikes are going to be necessary, I mean, I think the market obviously goes pretty berserk if he ever says that. So I think the press conference will be the bigger one, not the 1 o'clock piece of it. Thursday, retail sales, and of course the jobless claims. Do have the 15 and 30-year mortgage rate. And Friday, you got Empire State Manufacturing and industrial production. And then you got some of the PMIs. But I don't think Friday will be too big. But all the other days, pretty big data points coming out. All right, let's move on to the chart then. Let me just check, see if there's any questions. Nope, good. All right, let's see. Oh, looks like I lost Julian. Are you there, Julian? Oh, okay. Well, that's weird. I mean, YouTube is showing no viewers right now, but all right. Well, that's good. All right. Well, let me go on here. So the ES, obviously, we just been in this tight range ever since middle November. Just kind of been going in this really tight range, just about 100 points, I guess. 100-point range, but it's just there's no real direction. The only thing that I can see is, I think after this running flat here. Oh, so I should just mention that I've switched the futures contracts that I'm using to the March because the December contracts are about to expire. So the numbers now will be a little different. There was about a 50-point difference in the S&P from the December contract, and this March contract is about 50 points higher, and then the Nasdaq is I think it was about 200 points higher. So the numbers will look a little different from the previous contract that I was showing. But anyway, so after this running flat here, it looks to me that they're just making an ending diagonal, and so it looks like 1, 2, 3, that was 1, 3 down here for 2, 1, 2, 3 for 3, and then this really big 1, 2, 3 for 4, and then they came on Friday and broke that level. But now when I drill in on this final fifth wave, it doesn't quite look done yet. So off of that 4 low, it looks like we've got another leading diagonal. So it looks like 1, 2, 2, 3. So that's 1, and then here's 1, 2, 3. That's 2. And then here was 1, 2, 3. That's 3, and then came down in 4, and now we're in the fifth wave of this, what I think is going to be a leading diagonal. And this wave doesn't look done. It looks like this is just the first part. They'll correct. They might even come down a little bit more. and then go back up one more time. And that'll be 5 waves. So that'll be a leading diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that'll be the 5th of this leading diagonal. The correct, probably a shallowish correction. I mean, they can make a big correction, but I think it'd be just a bigger 3 wave than some of these waves. But then there'll still be one more up, and then this 5 will finally be in for an ending diagonal. So I still see a little bit more up, but I think we're definitely ending this big move that we've had off of the October low. And that'll all be just the first wave, I think. And then there's going to be a correction before more upside. So that's what I see on the S&P, and then if we look at the Nasdaq, it's kind of the same thing, but to me it looks a little bit more bullish on the Nasdaq, because all I see, I think this right here was from this is, I think, 4 right here, and I think this just went up 1, 2, 3 for 1, and then we had this 3-wave move. I think that's 2, and so now we should just be coming into 3. So I think there's actually more upside on the Nasdaq, because I don't see how this could have ended anything. I could be wrong. Maybe they're, I don't even see like a running flat. So to me, like, the Nasdaq has quite a bit to go. So yeah, I think they're just in the 3rd wave. So when I drill in, this to me looks like that's 1, that's 2, and then they've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diagonal to here. And so I could see the Nasdaq just giving a little bit of a correction. So 1, 2, and that'll be 3, and then we'll come down for 4 and go up for 5. And then this will all be just the leading diagonal of this 3rd wave. So I see just nothing but upside for the Nasdaq. Now, if they do come down, well, they could come down. This would be my invalidation point that I got something wrong here. If they come down and break 15,994, then this is somehow, this top here ended this whole big move up, and now they're making a big correction, because that's only 3 ways to there. But this is looking like it's creating like just a big diagonal going up. So that's the invalidation point telling me that I got something wrong here. And this to me just looks incomplete, like it can't end on this 3-wave move up here. So a lot more up on the Nasdaq. And then the Russell is also looking like, this is, I've been saying, this diagonal going up. And to me, this doesn't look like it's done either. Because they made this impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now this was a correction. And they still got to go up one more time, because when we come all the way back down here, there was this 1, 2. So that's 1, 2. That's 3. I think this was 4. And now they're going up for the 5th wave. And so this just looks like the first part of the 5th wave. Now they might come down one more time, like that was pretty swift down and up. So they might come down one more, but they got to go back up and break 1888, I think, to finish that 5th wave. So wouldn't necessarily be buying here for the Russell, because I think this 5-wave move needs a correction, and and that's exactly what I see like on the S&P and Nasdaq. Like when this fifth wave ends, I think this whole move, like I said, then needs a correction. So I think everything is kind of lining up. Like everything has just a little bit more up to go, except for the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is they're doing something up here. I think it's just going to be finishing a diagonal. So I need to see a little bit more on the Nasdaq, but I still see more up. So yeah, we'll see on the Nasdaq, but definitely the S&P and Russell look like they need a little bit more up to finish their fifth waves, and then there should be a pretty decent sized correction coming. All right, so those are the main indexes. The other thing I wanted to look at was the dollar. So I'm not going to do a Forex report this week. I'm just going to kind of lump it in on this live stream today. So for the dollar, I've re-looked at this. I'm going to go out to the daily. I was thinking that this was, I had this as, before I had this as a WXY, because it looked like this came down in 3 waves. But I think what they did is they made an expanding flat. So I was thinking that this, after this impulse, this was going to be correction, one more up, and then fall down. But given how strong this move came down, like I got 5 waves to there. So I think this is going to be correction, and then it's going to go down. Now, obviously I'll know I'm wrong if they do go back up, but I think they made this big down move, and I think this is all just A, B, and this was the C wave actually. So they made this expanding flat, which is, it's always hard to see those until you get into this type of situation where you got this big impulse coming down a lot farther than I was expecting. So if that's the case, then I don't see us going back up to 107 now. I think this is going to correct, and then we're going back down to 99 to break that low. And if I zoom in on like an hourly, it's a little, we're at just an interesting spot on the dollar, because a couple of ways to look at it. So far we just have an A, a B, and a C. So they made this zigzag 535 for this ABC, and then they came down real swift in an ABC, and then reversed it and just broke that C high. So, and now, you know, it's come down, but then it went back up. So it's a little hard to notice, to give a forecast or prediction. It could be this is all the correction, and now they're going to totally come down, because this could be ABC. That was A. This ABC is B, and then straight up for C. So A, B, C, that's all the correction, and now we're going to come down and take out 102. Or if they come back up and break 104.263, then I think this is 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to be in a diagonal, because then you'll have 1, 2, 3 for 1, 3 waves down here for 2. This will be a 1, 2, 3. I think that'll be 3. Then they'll do a 4, and then they'll still go back up for the 5, and then I think they'll be targeting like up into this range, so like 104, but like basically 105, because then you'll have this leading diagonal. that will probably end in the mid 104 range, correction, one more up, and then down. So this next wave that's about to happen here will tell us what's going on. If they break that low, 103,272, then I think there's a good chance that this could just be all the correction. And now they'll target 102. But if it's just kind of stays in this range and then takes out 104,263, then I think the dollar is going to be kind of strong for well, more than several weeks, because then they'll be doing this leading diagonal, because this will only be coming up for the third wave. You go down for 4, up for 5, correct down, go back up. So it'll be choppy, but in a upward direction for the dollar. So I need one of these two levels to get broke. 104,263, 103,272 to give me a sense of what's in play here. And then when I look at some of the currencies, a couple of interesting ones. So the euro and the pound are going to have almost the exact same look as you would expect. From their high over here, November 28th, it's just been straight down. This could be like a little 1, 2, 3. So I don't, because this is so swift, it did come into this zone, but I think what they might be doing is like a 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a 1, 2, 3, and then still down before they go back up. So the euro is a little choppy. I'd only be looking for buy setups on the euro. I mean, after that swift move down, because either this is all the correction, this little ABC here, and you're going to go up, or that's just like the A wave. And now, they'll give you some type of B wave. One more down, and then, we'll have to see if that's all the correction or I'm going to make a real big correction. But I'd only be looking for buy setups. And the same thing on the pound. Now, the pound hasn't fallen nearly as much. So I think after this leading diagonal up, so far, it looks to me like there's only 3 waves down. No. I think this is a leading diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like the 5th wave could be in. So for the pound, I definitely would expect some type of correction up. Could be kind of high. But then still one more down, because it looks like there's 5 waves down. So I think it'll be correcting upwards. And then at least one more down. Now that might just be like all the A, and then they'll give you a B wave, and then still one more down again. But for the pound, I don't even know if I'd be looking for a buy setup here, because I think it's just going to be for correction and then down. I'd be looking after it breaks that low, then I'd be looking for a buy setup, because you don't know how big this correction will be. It might just be small. So that's the pound. And then the yen I wanted to show, because I think this one's really interesting, because this one fell a little bit more than I was expecting. Because I think after this 5-wave move, I thought it was just going to maybe come down to about there and then go back up before the big fall. They gave it an ABC, and then so far it's reacted really strong off of that 141 low. So the dollar yen actually is in a position where it's going to go all the way up to break, well, not this high. Let me get rid of this. This is now the high, this 5 high. That's the one that we care about. Should be going all the way up to break 151, or it's in a position. Now, this was a pretty swift ABC correction. So it could also be like they're just going to, oops. Let me get rid of that. Could be that they'll just up, down, up, and then still one more down before they go up. But I'd only be looking for a buy setup because after that 5-wave move up, this is correction. And I guess it doesn't have to break the high, but I think that they will, because I'm still thinking that they're going to give this bigger running flat look. So I only see more up in the dollar yen. So that's why I think there could be some strength coming on the DXY, because I think the euro and the pound are just correcting. I think they might go up, but they're still going to have one more wave down. And on the dollar yen, I only see up. So that's why I think the dollar could be in a position where next couple of weeks there might be a little bit of strength. But then you're going to get to this point where, like on the dollar yen, when it does get above 151, then you're going to have this big fall, and that should coincide when, like, if this isn't to correct up and come down, then this is going to be going all the way up. So then the dollar is going to really be tanking, because then the euro, the pound are going up, the dollar yen is going to be sinking, and that'll be when the dollar goes back down to 99. All right, before I get any farther, I see some chat going on here. Julian, I noticed the market is now reacting to the dollar now, much more than the yields. I was told to watch what the yen is doing also as it affects the dollar. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. We need the dollar to drop in order to get our rally. Yeah, and that's, I think as I always say, I always like when I can see everything kind of coming together, the dollar, all the foreign currency pairs, and the stock market. So I think I can see the dollar getting some strength in the coming weeks based on what I'm seeing on, both the euro, the pound, and the yen. The dollar will be strengthening, and that should be coincide because I think the S&P and Nasdaq and the Russell, they're all finishing that fifth wave, so they're going to need a correction. So they'll weaken while the dollar strengthens. So I agree with that. I believe the Japanese are manipulating their bonds and their currency. I don't quite understand how it affects the dollar, however. Well, yeah, whenever they're manipulating, they're strengthening the dollar so that the yen weakens. I always don't have a total grasp on like why they're doing that, like what their reasoning is for wanting to do that, but I just know that that's all the chatter that I hear, especially on TV, that the Japanese are definitely manipulating it to weaken the yen. They started the intervention on July 28th at 149. Yeah. U.S. JEP level, I believe. Let's go to that. Oh, when it was way up there? But then they manipulated it, but to strengthen the yen. Yeah, see, I don't have a complete grasp on... Because I thought I remember, like, on this way up that everyone was talking how the Japanese were manipulating and weakening the yen. But if you're saying that July 20, let's go to that, July 28th. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, July 28th is like way down here. Yeah, then that definitely, yeah. That's exactly what I was hearing too. On the way up, they were manipulating, weakening the yen so that the dollar would rise. But as always, I mean, nothing goes up forever. So now there's this correction here. But I think the correction could be done on the yen. seasonality wise, the drop in the market should happen this week. The rally usually starts in the second half of December. Yeah, I could definitely see that because definitely for the S&P and the Russell, I think there's just a little bit more up, but literally like a day or two's worth, and that'd be about it. Unless they want to extend that fifth wave, but I think yeah, definitely in a day or two, you're going to be in a position where the fifth wave will be done. It'll be interesting to see what the pattern is on the Nasdaq, because to me it looks like the Nasdaq is only in the third wave. So yeah, we'll see. But no, I agree with that. There should be a drop in the market coming. All right, so that is the Forex world. Let me see if we got any other. Oh, we do. Got 3 people on. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to join in. Fire away. All right, so I've covered stock indexes, the dollar, and then the Forex pairs. Oh, we'll look at the 2-year. Let me drill down into this thing. So I think, as I said last week, that I think they're making this diagonal. And now they're coming up for this fourth wave. And I got to really drill in here. So far, to me, it looks like they're making just an impulse here. So we got 1, 2, 3, came down for 4. And to me, this fifth wave doesn't look done yet. So it looks like there's a little bit more up on this fifth wave, because, well, it's either it's in right there, or, but the way this looks like really correction here, because it just came down in 3 waves. Now they could be making a diagonal, so if they go back up, maybe a little bit higher for 3 waves, and then rip it down strong, then that will signal. Definitely when they break that 4, 6, 7, 1, then this 5 waves are in. But all that's going to happen, go out to a 2-hour, it's just going to it's going to be a 3-wave move. So it's either from where 474 is the high, and they're going to come down in 3 waves, some type of correction, and then one more up, probably somewhere like 4.8ish, and that'll be the 4th wave, and then come down in 3 waves and break 454. So I think there might be a little bit more up on this 5th wave, but either way, it's going to correct at some point and then still go up one more time, because all we've had so far is just 3 waves, 3 up to there, big 3 wave for the 3rd wave. So now I want 3 waves up and then 3 waves down, and then you have your leading diagonal. So definitely if the 2-year, and if the 2-year is going up, then the 10-year will probably be going up too. Because when I look at the 10-year, let's see, it's actually making a big impulse. So instead of a diagonal, they came down more aggressive. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think the 5 waves are coming down on the 10-year, and so now they're going to be correcting up. And so again, just like I was saying with how I like when everything lines up, like I see the dollar kind of for the next couple of weeks gaining some strength, and I see the stock market indexes kind of at a 5th wave topping point. I think that lines up, because I think that the 2s and the 10s now are going to be correcting up before they go back down. So if they're going to be strengthening, if the dollar is going to be strengthening, that obviously is not going to be good for markets. So markets need a pause anyway. So I think it just all really lines up perfectly. So let me drill in here. So yeah, so far, like all I see is just three waves. Oops. Three waves on the 10-year. So 1, 2, 3. So and there's like a little 1, 2, 3 already down to there. So maybe this is going to be 1, 2, and 3, and they're starting a leading diagonal. But I'd only be watching for the 10-year to slowly be rising, because I don't think this is all the correction. After this big down move, I would expect it to at least come up 4.75, maybe up to 4.45. Could even come all the way back up to in the 4.5, 4.6 range. But there should be some type of correction happening before they resume it back down and break that 4.1 level. All right. All right, so that's the 2s and 10s. And let's see. Now, back down to one viewer. Just you, Julian. All right, well, since it's just you, I guess we'll just move on to your favorite stock here. So, kind of an interesting week there. When I saw it break that low, got really nervous for you, because I didn't expect that after that big up move. But they defended that 80 level, so it's important to somebody. So, not until that breaks, there's still a chance. I mean, it's getting slimmer and slimmer, but there's still a chance that this is just going to be 1, 2, 3. The only problem is I thought that this was going to be 1, 2, and then I thought that was the ending diagonal. So that would be 1, 2, 3, and then it could go up. So this now gets a little confused. It really looks like it's a running flat, but I don't see how it. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, it could. Yeah, this is definitely three ways right here. And then you had this move, and like all this little chop, and then straight up. So it looks like three waves there. So like 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 there. And now this looks like 1, 2, 3. So is that 1? Is that 2? And this is 3. So what you need is them to break that. They got to break 97, 94, because then that eliminates them creating a diagonal, a leading diagonal coming down, which means then I think 56 is going to be their target. Well, at least 56. Now, obviously Thursday into Friday was really helpful, because if they can break that, then I don't know how they would go back down, because that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know how they would go down. So yeah, I really think for you to have a hope of them pushing this thing up above 112, they got to break that. So I think you'll probably have your answer Monday, definitely Tuesday. Because if it reverses, then I think that this was coming up was 1, 2, 3. That'll be 4, and then they'll be coming down in 3, and then that would be a leading diagonal. That would not be good. So yeah, this would be a key little zone for you. If they can push this Monday and break that somehow, then this is I guess it'd be like a WXY. Be WXY correction. And if they can break that, then I think you're looking really good. Because then the only thing that I can see here is this has to be 1, 2, and then this is 1, two, and then they should be coming up for the 3, 4, and a 5, or unless they're going to make a running. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it could still be a 1, 2, 3, but it'd be a running flat, but it'd be for just continual upside. So let's see if they can break that level for you. It's looking good because it actually, when I look at this now, it does look like it's 1, 2, 1, 2. That looks like 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it looks like if they have they broken that level yet? No. So they set it there 94.20, 94.19, 94.19. So I think if they break actually 94.20, I could see that being 5 waves from down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll correct, but then it should go back up. And as long as it can then bust through there, I think this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 somewhere. But that'll be looking good. So yeah, let's see. It's always fun to watch stuff. Oh, let me look at the chat here. Sorry. I see the 10-year go to 4.5 for sure, maybe a bit higher. Let me switch over to that. The 10-year to go to 4.5. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, if they're going to make just a shallow correction, which would tell, yeah. Shallow correction would only be up to, 4, 4.5. But yeah, if they're going to make a bigger correction, definitely 4.5 is in play. Penny stock season is about to start. I don't know how much lower it's going to go, and the Nasdaq is looking good. Yeah, I don't know anything about penny stock season, but yeah, for your stock, let me go back to it. Yeah, that's a key level, 97.94. It's looking good. Yeah, and like I said, I to me it looks like the Nasdaq still has a bit up in it. So if that gets a push up, then maybe this can just blast through all this stuff. And XBI. So XBI is looking good, and I had an order on Monday at, well, I think I had it at like 76 or something. Is that right? Yeah. I was hoping that there would be a little bit of a pullback to 76, and then I was going to buy. So I missed all this. But XBI it's looking really good. And so it's going to be either one or two patterns are playing out. So let me go to a 2-hour. Because I see 5 waves now from here. So 1, this was a running flat here. So that's 2. And then I got to drill in, I guess. Yeah. And then there was 3, came down for 4, and then they made this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal. So to me, the third wave, well, there's 2 ways to look at it. This is either going to be, because I think this whole thing was a little contracting flat here. So I think this is 1, 2, and now we just had this wave. So I do see divergence. This is on the 1-hour chart. So there is some divergence. So it's either going to be this is 1, 2, and then this is all 3. And the fourth wave should come down 78.35, maybe 76.5 or so. That could be 4. So if it comes down here in 3 waves, I think that's 4. And then if it goes back up in 5 waves, then that's going to be, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get a much bigger correction before they resume up. The other pattern, obviously, is always at this point when you just have a 1, 2, and then 5 waves. That could be just 1, 2, 3, and then they could be making like a little bit bigger and drop it down like into the 74s. Oh, they could drop it to the 70s, but like if they're going to be creating like a leading diagonal, like that could be 1, 2, 3. That could be 1, and then come down, in 3 waves, into the 74s or maybe even lower. And that would be 2, and then they'll be reverting. And then that tells you that it's going to be really bullish, because if that's just 1 and this is 2, then 3 is going to be like way up there. Like I said before, I see this should be going up into the 90s, and so could be making a leading diagonal, or can be making an impulse. Either one's, but I only see upside, and definitely when it gets down into this 76 range, I'm looking to re-enter that again. Should be able to get filled down there. But if it does just give a little 3 wave down into here, you just got to know that you're probably just one more up, break 81.13, and then there's going to be a bigger correction before they take it up higher. It just depends on how fast they want to go, because it should be ABC, ABC. Yeah, it should. I think there's a really good chance it breaks 95. So just how quickly do they want to do it? Okay, let's see. Julian, it needs AI stocks to rally. Yep. Labu, it's similar to XBI, but 3x leverage. Let's take a look at that. Labu. The biotech 3x. Oh, okay, another ETF. Boy, that is a nasty drop. February of 21. It did have a stock split recently, but still, that has been absolutely killed. Yeah. You could just see the divergence back here in September. That was, well, actually in September they still pushed it down until November. But let's see on this one. Yeah, so this one, 1, 2, actually that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, so they made, yeah, it's the same pattern. It's 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Now this looks like 1, 2, 3. This is a running flat here. So that's 1, and so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now they're coming down. It's either 1, 2, 3, and now they're going to create another 1, 2, 3, and then go. Or this could be coming down for the 4, go up for the 5, and then give you a bigger correction. So, yeah, either way, I'd start, looking. How much farther on this guy? Yeah, 86, 79, 80. Yeah, 86 on this guy. Take it back up to somewhere above 94. So that's a nice play. Let's say you can get it at 86. Oh, yeah. At least 10%, probably 11, 12%. And it'll happen fairly quickly. But if they do just make a bigger correction, then this is just a 1, 2, 3. But it'll be a 1, 2, 3, and then still more upside. So yeah, that's not a bad play. Labu. I like that. All right. XBI and Labu seem to drop on tech weakness. All right. Wonder why that is. I heard biotech should be doing really well in 24, and we'll be seeing lots of mergers and buyouts. Yeah, the bigger fish will be eating the smaller ones here. Yep, absolutely. Especially that space. I mean, that's all that happens is the big boys come in when someone's got a hot product and they take it on and reap the benefits. Let someone else do all the R&D and prove that it works, and then they can swoop in. Deep pockets always helps. There's this new ETF from BMO. It's a bull spy Forex leverage. It's called XXXX. We definitely need to load up on it once we expect the SPY to rally. Wow, Forex. I haven't heard of Forex. There it is. Bank of Montreal. Oh, it's on the New York Stock Exchange. Forex leveraged. Holy mackerel. Oh, it's like brand new. Like brand new. Did it just start? Like December 5th? Oh, yeah, you said there's this new ETF. Yeah. Wow. Well, that is definitely something to be aware of. Of course, I usually trade the SPXL, SPXS, and that one it's either 2 or 3. 3. So 3x. So yeah, it's good to know. Anytime you got a strong bullish conviction, use this one and use the leverage. Absolutely. I love it. First Forex ever. All right, good to know. Thank you. All right. Well, it looks like there's 2 viewers. So anybody have any questions? Feel free to ask. Do I have updates on nat gas? I sure do. Let's drill in here. Let me clean this up here. All right. So my update on nat gas is that I still can't confirm that this fifth wave down here, the larger fifth wave, is done yet. So when I look at this, this has to break for me to feel like they're going up 2621, because it looks to me I was thinking that this might be a diagonal here. So this 1, 2, 3, that was 1, that was 2, 3, 4, and then you had this 1, 2, 3. So I was thinking that could be 5, but the way this is acting right here, like I got to really drill in here. This is just, all it did is go up in 3 ways. 1, 2, 3. And then straight down. I mean, there's been no correction to this point. I mean, on this initial wave down. So you got this drop, and then you got this 3-wave pullback. So that looks like just an ABC. And then you got this, and this, like at any moment, like when they started coming up, I was like, okay, somehow this drop, there must be a contracting flat, but then they like this could have been like ABC, and then this was the C. Like the C should have come all the way down for a regular flat, but I thought it was contracting. But then they went up, and then they broke that. So this is really, really ugly, really ugly for it to go up. The only thing that I can see for it is that it goes down, because I think this is just a three-wave correction up. I think this is the impulse, the first wave down. Here's your correction. So that's like one down, that's two. And then you got one, come on, two, three. And then you got one, two, three. And then they just sold it off late Friday. So I really believe if they come and break 2538, I think this is going to be a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, that's one. 1, 2, 3, that's two. They have actually already corrected just enough that this could be 1, 2, and then they could, really push this down for the third wave. And then you go, at some point you get a 4 and a 5. But then we're still going a lot lower, because this needs to end in 5 waves. And it'd be 1, 2, and then this would all be just another one wave. So I think they're just going to be killing natural gas. So this is going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, they could spike it up, maybe open up Sunday over here, and then reverse it Monday. But yeah, I think if they break this 2538, nat gas is, I mean, they're still just dragging it much lower before we finish off this fifth wave. So I actually opened up a short up here, because I opened up a long. Where did I open it? Because I thought, where was that? I opened up a small long, because I thought this fifth wave, where did I see it then? Oh, this moved. Yeah, I thought it was done here. So I bought, and of course it dropped, and then it went out, and just, so I'm basically just still break even. But when I saw them, it couldn't come up and break that, and it started selling off. So I took another short. So now I'm hedged, and quite frankly, I know it's going to go down a lot more, but at some point there's got to be a massive correction, because when we look at the other chart, I know that I'm calling for them to come excuse me, break this low. So I guess there's a chance that they're just going to make this a straight shot to do it. I thought they, somewhere like here, this would be 1, they would correct for 2, come down for 3, give you a 4, and then give you 5 waves that way. But I guess there's a chance that this thing just comes all the way straight shot, break 206, and then we start the next bull run. But and like I said, like when I drill in on this thing, that's what I'm seeing, is that this could all just be the start of a diagonal. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then that needs to correct and still go down some more. So it might just be one straight shot, and they're not going to make a big correction. All right, let me see. I see some chat going on here. I did well this week. I had 2 trade for close to 10% return. Wow. I sold out on Friday right before the waterfall. Were you? Well, you must have been buying then. I know you did the early one in the week, and you sold. You timed that so perfect. I remember that. I remember you told me that you bought. Which one was that? I think it was this move here. No. That was 29th. It was this week. So it must have been on this move. Oh yeah, because they broke this level. Yeah, you got that one. And I thought that, they would correct and still go up, because I thought that was going to be the start of the big correction. So you did well on that one. Oh, you must have bought when it hit this low then. The February contract is higher than January for now. It might be good for bulls just for a quick swing. What am I on? January? I would think that the February contract and the March too. Let's look at the March even. 2.3. Oh, that's lower. February 2.4. Looks like they're actually lower than January. 2.5. Yeah, they're lower. What did you say? The February contract is higher than January. To me, they look like this is January's at 2.552. And if I look at, oops, if I look at February, it's at 2.478. So it's actually lower. So the March one is even lower than that. It's at 2.3 right now. So that tells me that the futures market is seeing more decrease in natural gas, which is what I see. I mean, I think net gas goes to break that 2.0 level. Yes, I went long twice. I bought Monday, yep, sold out Tuesday, rebought Wednesday, doubled down on Thursday and sold off. Oh, okay, so yeah, you dollar cost averaged. Yeah, then you got lucky twice. Because yeah, it's not looking bullish, and not unless it can break above it. Well, it really. I mean, if it breaks above, oh no, I'm on the wrong chart. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But if it breaks that Thursday high, then that's looking like it's got some room. You know, a correction should be happening. But given this price, I can only see downward patterns. I can't see any pattern that goes up. March is lower. Yep. Yeah, I don't. I'm now solely in the camp that my shorts that I have on, I'm leaving them on. I'm not gonna close them out even if we break these. Oops, break these lows coming up here. Like I don't. Like if I move back here. I mean, even though it really looks like fifth wave is got to be ending here. Because the only other thing that I can see is that this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this was 1, 2, 3. This is 4, and now they're starting another fifth wave. Excuse me. And then what would that be? That'd be 1. This is 2. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah. See, then if that's 2, and then they're just finishing actually the third wave inside of this fifth wave. I mean, so that yeah, I'm just leaving my short on now. Like even if we come and break 2489, I'm not gonna take profit because even if it does just ricochet up, you know, it's just going to be a correction and down. So then I'll be able to get my long into some kind of a profit if they do make a correction. But yeah, they might just be taking this on a straight line down to 2 without a big correction. I thought they might make a big correction, you know, like after this. Oops, go to a 4-hour chart. After this big 5-wave move, I thought they might sit in here for like 2 months, make a big correction, and then come down for the 3, 4, and the 5. But yeah, they might just be sending this all the way down to 2 in one straight shot. I know lots of bulls. Oh, well, let's see. Well, we need a catalyst, perhaps supply disruption or bad weather. Yeah, I know. If you're a bull, but I mean, like here in the Midwest, like, I mean, yesterday in here, Chicago, we were at 60 degrees. Today we're at 50. I think it's supposed to be 55 or something, 57. So, yeah, Monday I know we're supposed to get back into the 30s, but that's only like a couple days, and then we go back into like the upper 40s. So I mean, it's like there's nothing cold here in the Midwest, and yeah, so not unless but I mean, weather can change. I mean, in a week we could be in the teens or something. I know lots of bulls were expecting a spike to 2.9. Well, yeah, I thought like I said, I thought that this fifth wave was ending. I forgot where I called that. Oh, here. Yeah. Where this one ended or starts. I thought that could be the fifth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if that was the case, then yeah, then there should be a bigger correction. I thought it would be going at least to 2.9, if not into the low threes. But they just keep making downward patterns. So yeah, not until this 2621 level gets broken, because as it stands right now, if they do break 2621, then I do think that they can come up to 28, maybe as high as 3, but that's just going to be correction, and then they'll resume it down. So like I said, I'm fine if they do either one. I'm going both ways. They're at the bottom of the channel, sitting at around 245. 245. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that, because I really, I mean, with winter here, I mean, there's got to be at least a little bounce, little correction. I would think it'd be somewhat healthy correction. But I don't know if you noticed, on Thursday, the inventory number came out, and it was, let me see if I can find it. Oh, it was last week. I can't go back. But the consensus was that the draw would be 105. What is it? Billion something, blah, blah, blah. And it came at minus 117. So it was like a really bullish report. And so if we go drill in at the report, when that thing come out, yeah, right here. So go down to a 30-minute. So actually, let's go down to a 15-minute. So here's Thursday. They're working their way up, working their way up. Here comes 9:30 when the report comes up. They spike it up, and then just sell it off. And so that told me right there. I'm like, if you have a bullish report, and you spike it up high, and then you just come straight down, that big. I'm like, this isn't going up. They're not going to make a correction. And so sure enough, I mean, so far. Now, we haven't broken either one of these two levels, this 2522 or this 2621, but I think definitely that this is going to be 1, that's going to be 2. I guess there's still a possibility that that's the A, this is the B, and then this thing is going to be in like an ending diagonal to here. Like you'll have a A, B, C. They don't break the low, and then I don't know, but. Yeah, like I said, I don't care. I'm long and short, and I'm not closing my short until they break 2. But let me see what you got here. The withdrawal came at, yeah, at 117, yep, which was much more than anticipated. Yep, it was. But the big boys, they took that, they let them, let the all the retail traders buy, and then they send it down. So that's why, yeah, they could play a game. They sent it down, scare a lot of retailers, then it came back up. So now the retailers are feeling, oh, okay, we're okay, and then they're actually going to come back down, break this low, because now people have got their stop loss probably sitting under here. So there is a chance that they send it down to here, and then send it up, take out some of these people who bought there. But I don't know. One of these levels has to break. 2489 or 2621. I've seen weeks where there was a bearish report and they just spiked it up anyways. It's so hard to predict. Yeah. I don't know how long you've been listening to me, but I mean, I remember it's probably at least 6 months ago. I showed that there was a pattern already being played. I remember it was a diagonal was in play. So that, price had come up and it had corrected, and then they were starting to go up, and it was like 1, and then they came down for 2. Net gas was like at 3, and then they came down for 4, and the inventory number came out, and it was a bearish report, but the price action went up one more time, and then it reversed. And I'm like, and I told everyone afterwards, I'm like, I knew it had to go up because, we were in this ending diagonal. And I'm like, you had 1, you had a 2, you had a 3, and it came down for 4. I'm like, it had to go up for 5, even though it was a bullish. And, I'm like, for people who don't believe in technical analysis or even wave analysis, I'm like, it works, because why did they go up on a bearish report only then to send, and they really sent it down hard. I mean, well, obviously, that's all nat gas did last year was go down, but the bearish report came out, it spiked it up and finished the pattern, and I'm like, that's why I do this wave analysis, because it works. The week before this week, they actually had storage rather than a draw. Yeah. Oh, that now it was a big draw. A big increase in storage. I think it was like 60 or something crazy. Market, forgot which, could probably see it on the chart. Might have been, when was this one? Tuesday? No, it wasn't that one. Might have been over here. Yeah, that was November 16th. But yeah, one of these big drops, I think it was, no, actually it was around Thanksgiving. Monday, Tuesday. Or no. When was that? It's somewhere in mid to late November, because they skipped a week, and they did 2 reports in one. It might have been this one, and it just sold off like a rock. The week before, the week before this, they had something you don't see too often that far in the season. Yep. Yes, I was shorting, and I barely came out of the trade alive. I was shorting, and I barely came out of the trade alive. Oh, about the story of the finishing the pattern. Yeah, that's why they do it. Actually, let me take a look at something here. And we got 2 viewers. But we can take a look. Let me open this up. Always like looking at this. Haven't done this in a while on the YouTube videos. So we'll look at the storage report. Oh, okay, so it finally did curl. So on this chart down here, This is the 5-year average. I don't know. I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know if you've been watching since the last time I showed this chart. But so this dark gray line is the 5-year average of storage of natural gas. The shaded area is the min and max of the 5-year, and then the blue line is the current storage level. So obviously, if you go back to 22, blue line is below the gray line, which means we're under the 5-year average. So that should be bullish, and it was. All of 22, we just went up until August of 22, and that was the top for natural gas. And then it was just a few months later, November, where those two lines touched. And then ever since then, now the blue line, well, except for this little area over here in probably December, but ever since then, blue line has been, for a while, it was massively above this 5-year average. Got real wide in the summer, and then it got real narrow. It's looking like it might start to cross, but now they just, last week was a real big separation between the two, but now this blue line finally curled over. Oops, wish I can zoom in, but but you can see, like, for the rest of the winter now, this just keeps going down. So that's why it's like, from this charting basic supply demand, like this blue line is going to be staying above this gray line. Like, I mean, not unless we have, this couple polar vortexes come through and, have massive increase in demand. This blue line is just going to stay above. And so that just supports the thesis that nat gas goes down to $2. So that's just the fundamental perspective. It's about the only fundamentals that I do. All right, I am hearing chatters about an inverse crash, which is an inflationary crash rather than a depressionary one. Do you have thoughts on the matter? Which sectors would do well should this come to happen? Can you speak to more about what's an inverse crash? I haven't heard that term. It's an inflationary crash rather than a depressionary one. I assume that you mean in the stock market and not nat gas. Or should I look at? Yes, the stocks. Okay. An inverse crash. Yeah, I don't know. Inverse to what? Like there's an inverse relationship to something? The Great Depression and the GFC were depressionary. Now they're talking about an inflationary one. Huh. I haven't heard that. Do you know what is... I mean, inflation is like really coming down. I think it would have to do with the dollar being, is that too inflated? Yeah, I gotta say, I don't agree with that. I mean, like back, for the dollar, I mean, back when the dollar was, so what, September of 22, when the dollar's at 114, you know, that's inflationary. But, the dollar, I don't see the dollar going above 107 now. I definitely don't see it going back to 114 anytime soon. So I think, I mean, the dollar's in a gain some strength here, but it's just 104, 105. I don't think, I mean, we've been higher, obviously. So I don't, I don't know. I don't agree, or I don't understand what they're talking about. Similar to what happened in Germany and Argentina. Sorry, I can't speak to that. I don't understand what they're saying there. Germany in the world wars. Yeah, I know. Well, I know Germany had huge inflation in World War II. Well, all throughout the 30s. I think that was part of the reason that people kind of fell in love with Hitler, because he promised to get them out and was getting them jobs, unfortunately, because it was to build his war machine. But I mean, the only thing I can think of, like, if the dollar sinks like I think it's going to, we're going to come and take out 99, which all of a sudden means, which means what? One, two, oh, no, yeah, 99. I mean, we could be going 98, 97. Like, that could be, I guess that could be maybe then considered inflationary, because the dollar's so weak that it's cheaper for, is that right? And it's cheaper for Americans to buy. No, wait, how's that work? No, that wouldn't be. I was thinking if that would be good, because then imports would be cheaper. But if you ever come across like an article or a video on that, send it to me, because I'm not following along with that, with inverse inflationary crash. I mean, if anything, I mean, if we didn't have a crash when inflation was at 9%, I don't know why we'd have one now with it being at 3%. Oh, the guy thinks the houses are going to be worth 50% more within the next 3 years. Oh, yeah, actually, that's kind of what I'm hearing. That housing, the prices are going to pick up because the supply is so low. So obviously, less supply, prices go up. Now that could be. I could definitely see that. Okay, I see 2 viewers. So if anyone has any other questions, otherwise I'll wrap this up. I think I've covered everything I wanted. Let me make sure. Did that, did the 2s and 10s. VRSF, XP, yeah, I did everything I wanted. By inflationary crash, maybe he's saying all the assets are going to go through the roof, and those who aren't in the market just won't make it because the inflation will be so high. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. I could see that. I agree with that. Oh, inflationary in terms of inflating the market. Oh, okay. Huh, that's interesting. I never heard that term or but I could see that happening. Sure. That would be his latest video. Okay, that's what he talked about. It appears you can't see some of my comments. Oh, did you try to send a link? Yeah, I think YouTube. Actually, I don't know why they would do that. Like, especially if you're sending another YouTube link, I don't know why. Mark Moss. All right, I'll take a look at him after this. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube would block that, especially if you're promoting another YouTube link. I haven't heard of Mark Moss. I see 3 viewers now, so if anybody has any questions, fire away. You have no idea? Yeah, I don't either. I'll have to check. I know there's some like additional settings that I can do when I create these live streams. I wonder if there's like a setting like that I can for some reason block links or something. I don't know. I'll take a look. Doesn't seem like YouTube would care. I don't know. Have you ever thought about creating a community? A community on YouTube? I could use some daily updates. I'll have to give that some thought. Let me think about that, Julian. Try to think of how that would work. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who do that kind of stuff, but yeah, let me get some thought. It'd be interesting. Might be just you and I in that community. A place where your subscribers would be able to direct message and view the daily updates and what you're doing in the market. Okay. Yeah, let me get some thought to that, how I would work that out. Be interesting. I'd be up for that. Like a Discord channel or something. I would be you. Oh, I'd be your first customer if you would. Okay. Hey, Sergey. Thanks for joining. Telegram channel and CG hat for that. This way you can monetize your efforts, maybe. Well, thanks, guys. Yeah, let me think about that. How and where to do that. Telegram channel and chat for that. Years ago, it was either Telegram or Discord. I was following someone and they had a free Discord channel. But that was when I just first got into trading, and I didn't just became more noise than anything. Wasn't very helpful. But yeah, let me kick that around. I don't think I would have jumped on nat gas. Is it if it wasn't because you reached out on Sunday afternoon? Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I like to hear that. Glad I can contribute something helpful. Don't always get the counting right, the wave count right, but yeah, I mean, if you're getting some good trade ideas, I like being able to do that. All right, still have 3 viewers. Anything else anyone wants to look at, talk about? Julian, it wouldn't be financial advice, but like understanding the math and patterns of the market, which in turn would give us a better educated guess on which trades to make and whatnot. Okay. I was that's interesting that you bring that up. Because it would be fun for me to teach what I preach, to teach wave analysis. I don't know how many people are interested in that though, because it takes time for sure to learn it. Maybe I'll have to create like a online course. Oh, Sergey. So Dixie did impulse now. Correction ABC after that. Again, impulse higher. Impulse 3 higher 120, right? Let's take a look. Well, I don't think you were on when I first did it, Sergey. Let me drill in here. What I see is they made this zigzag. So there was 5 waves, and then they made this little 3-wave correction. Oops. So A, B, and then they made this 5-wave to there. So 5, 3, 5, A, B, C. And then as far as I can tell, this came down as A, B, and a C. And then they just went straight up. And then they broke that high. So it's either one of two things. It's this ABC is A, and then this ABC is B, and then they came up for C, and now that's all the correction, and then they're gonna totally come down and take out the low. So let me go to a 2-hour. So after this move down, it could be that's all the correction, and then they take out this 102 low, or they're just beginning a diagonal, and I think that's more likely what's going to be in play here. So what I'm looking at is A, B, C, that's 1, start of a leading diagonal. A, B, C, that's 2, and then this move up is just like the A wave, and now they've corrected enough actually, and so they could be 1, 2, and then they'll come up for like a 3, 4, and a 5. I got to zoom out here, and yeah, and then 3. So you'll have 1, 2. This will be 3. Then somewhere you'll come down in 3 ways for a 4, and then you're still going up for a 5, and then that whole thing will need to correct and then go back up. So that's what I'm leaning towards because of what I see like on the Euro USD, the pound, and especially the dollar yen. I see the dollar strengthening in all those currencies. And so obviously this Dixie is just a representation of all those. So I just think when I zoom back out, I just think that this big down wave now needs a correction, and they're going to create like a leading diagonal, give us a correction up, correction down, one more up, and it could be coming into this 104 to 105-ish range eventually, and then they'll come down and take out that 102 low. So I think that's going to be the overall kind of theme. Give you a big 3-wave correction, but I think they're just getting started on this impulse. So there's 2 key levels to watch where they are right now at 103.98. If they come down and do break this 103.27, then that might be favoring that they're going to come and take out 102. But if this does what I think it's going to do, it should be coming up to take out 104.20. Let me get rid of this line. Why'd that line come back? Take out this 104.26, and then they'll be working their way up for the third wave. Okay, so all right, so I think so that's my take on the dollar. All right, Julian. And the subscribers could bring in trade ideas and stuff, then your analysis could give it a boost. Yeah, I like that. Definitely. Okay. The market is always moving, evolving, and I feel if we could get access to that movement on a daily basis, it would definitely help us make better decisions. I am assuming this is what you do on a daily basis for yourself already. All you would need to do is post it. Yeah, that is exactly what I do on a daily basis. I think I said it to you before. I mean, like, this is literally all I do every day. I mean, literally, and it's like, it's not even 5 days a week, it's 7 days a week. I'm just looking for patterns. It's like, okay, I see an ABC. Okay, I see 3 waves here. All right, so what's the pattern then? So if you got 3 up and you got 3 down, I know it's got to go back up. I mean, unless they're going to start a diagonal going down, but there was no there was divergence over here, but yeah, I'm always just looking for patterns, and so every chart that I keep track of, it's got all these labels and key levels, and usually I have alerts set, so like when one of these key levels get broke, I get alerts, because I keep track of probably about 15 to 20. How many do I have? 3, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, I got 19 things right now that I'm keeping track of. So yeah, that's all I do every day, all day, is just where are we in the patterns? So after a 5-wave move, I'm looking for a correction now in the dollar, and what are the key levels, and so yeah, okay. No, you guys are giving me a lot to think about here. I like that idea. Sergey, did that answer your question on the Dixie? How do you figure when to jump in and then get out? I know you always say look for a buy setup, and for a sell setup, that kind of stuff is relevant. Yeah, it's very relevant. Thanks, Sergey. Thanks. So from week's view, thanks. So from week's view, using Fibbo correction, which is the possible targets. Okay, Julian, I'm going to come right back to your question. Let me just finish off this dollar. Yeah, so using the fibs, I think the target for this third wave, I've got at 104.35. So this is little zone here, 104.35 to at least 104, yeah, 64. I think if I'm right, let me throw that in, make sure. If I'm right, and this is going to be the third wave, they should be targeting this range. And so then you'll have 1, 2, this will be 3, 4th wave, and then 5th wave. And the 5th wave might not come up into here, but when they do correct, then I think they'll be at least targeting 104.91 to 105.48 up into this range. So I think that's the, the fifth wave might come into here. It doesn't, but I think ultimately they will. But at some point, if this does play out, you know, you're going to have this big 5-wave leading diagonal. Then you're going to need some type of correction, and then still more up. But I think it'll target into this range. Does that help, Sergey? Clean this up. All right, so while Sergey's typing, let me go back to Emerald or to Julian. So how do I figure when to jump in and then get out? So, you know, one of two things. Either when I see like from here, well, no, let's go to like to net gas. So like on here, you know, I made that video when price was, where was it? Here. Wait, no. Yeah, here. It came down here because I thought that was the fifth wave. And so for me, I'm going to go down to 3-minute chart. Oh, God, that's going to be, yeah, that's fine. I need to see an ending pattern. So in this case, it either needs to be an impulse or a diagonal. So, you know, this was 1, this was 2, this was 3, that was 4, and that was 5. So ending diagonal. So as the term implies, it's ending something. And so for me, to know when the buy setup is ready is when it breaks that impulse, the diagonal. Now in this case, they broke it and then they still reversed it. So it just told me that the pattern that the wave count that I was looking at is just wrong. It's not, it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like I thought. It was that this fifth wave that starts here just made that correction, and now they're still going down. So for natural gas, it's actually, I think, easy because there's just more down. I mean, like I thought there could be a big correction, but then it was still going to be down. So even though I bought when they broke and then they pulled back, so for me, the buy setup is always break the previous 4 level. This might be really confusing, but let me slide this over. So it's always this. Break that previous 4. So on this chart, this was the 4 that I thought, and then they came down for that ending diagonal. So first you got to break that. And then this was a 5-wave move. And then when this pulls back, this is where I'm buying. So, you know, I could have bought here because I saw 5 waves. So I could have bought there, but I didn't know, I didn't have confirmation for me that this 5-wave move was done, because they could have just, this could have been A, B, C, and then they send it down again. You know, and like this 5th wave then gets extended. So for me, the buy setup happens when you break the 4 and then you correct, and then I'm buying this correction. Now, usually I would say, and that's my stop loss then, is if they break that. So they broke it, but like I said, I'm not going to close the buy because I still think there's going to be a correction coming. But I did then reopen the short over here. So now, you know, I'm hedged, but you know, I don't care for it because it's natural gas, and I know I have like 98, 99% conviction that net gas goes down to 2. So with that in mind, like I'm willing to hold my buy that I bought here, but as long as I hedge it with a short there, like I'm not going to be losing much, you know. But on any other asset where it's like, I'm like 70% sure or something, like, you know, especially like on the S&P, you know, after this big 5-wave move, you know, now I'm going to wait for a correction. And when I see like an ABC, then I need to see like at a small level, I need to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, some type of 5-wave move. That then tells me that this correction is probably done. So then I'll wait for a correction, and this is where I'm buying. And then at least for, excuse me, one more up, if not to go and break the high. So I know that's probably not super clear. I would need more time to really explain it and give a good example, but that when I say buy setups and sell setups, that's what I'm always referring to. That I need confirmation that like a 5th wave is done, and then I'm looking for 5 waves up and then a pullback, but at a small 5-wave level, you know, not a big 5-wave level. So hopefully that makes sense. I can do a better job if I kind of prepare something. All right, let me see. Julian, your YouTube channel and live stream would help you grow the community. Okay, all right, I like that. Sergey, good. STC indicator is helpful for wave analysis. STC. Stochastics? Let me see. STC. I'm not STC. Yeah, I'm not unless it's stochastics, I'm not sure I know that one. Do you use support and resistance at all? Oh, I could make a whole video on that. I'm one who absolutely despises support and resistance. I'm sorry if is there anyone else even on right now? Let me just, before I offend anyone. There's three people here. So if anyone uses it, I mean, if it works for you, great. You know, just like anything. I mean, if it works for you, use it. But for me, I think support and resistance is just a lazy man's way of looking at a chart and going, oh, here's where, you know, the price will bounce from, or here's where, you know, price will rise up and then get rejected. You know, I don't know. The way I learned from someone is that what they did is they did this. They squished their chart, so they made it really small. Okay, so I see how I'm making it really, really, really small, really tight. So, and then they just drew a line and they said, right, let's say here. Oh, I got to turn this magnet off. And they just drew a line and they just went boom, like just random. And then they opened up the chart again and they said, okay, oops, maybe that's too much. And they said this line that they just randomly drew, they like drilled in on that line. And it was kind of really funny, I thought. And they were like, oh, look, this random line that I shoot, look how the price got rejected when it came up to it. And it came up again and got rejected. I got to drill in or make this a little bit wider for you guys. But look how this line that is acting as resistance. And then finally, price broke above the line, and then it found support there. And then it went up. Oh, and then it went down. You know, so it's like just this random line that the guy drew. He's like, look how it acted as resistance and then it acted as support, but then what did the price do? Then it just broke right. It's like there's people on TV, like TV analysts, like people who are like big name people getting paid lots of money. Like they talk support and resistance. It just drives me nuts. It's like they just look at a chart, like they'll go out to a daily chart. Oh, let me shrink this. And then they'll just go, oh, well, there's going to be resistance up here, or there's going to be support if price were to come all the way down here. Like there'll be support that, it's like, why? I mean, like I don't see it that way. So I see it different, right? I mean, I'm always just looking for patterns. And so, yeah, it might support might hold and resistance might reject the price, but it also, if you're in a 5-wave move, I mean, price is going to go right through the resistance. Yeah, I don't know. So I just laugh at that kind of stuff. I don't agree with it. It's just, I just think it's something that simple people just like to go, oh, well, that should be support. And that, I can show you 50 million places where something that should have been support didn't act as support as all. But hey, if it works for you, go ahead. Let me go back here. Sergey, STC indicator, the first one where written better than MACD. STC indicator, the first one, written better than MACD. Like I'm looking for, do you use TradingView, Sergey? Like is it, this one. Oh, I see what you're saying. STC indicator, a better MACD? I bet that's what you're talking about. So what is it? Is it just showing when something gets overbought and oversold? I haven't used it. I'm not familiar with it at all. It looks like it's just showing overbought, oversold conditions. Yes. Okay. No, I keep, like on my chart, I just use MACD and RSI. And I'm just looking for, for the RSI when things are overbought, oversold, and MACD, just to show me well, I use the MACD for wave analysis, and there's a little trick. If I do this do like a training class, I'll show you guys. There's a trick to using MACD when it comes to wave analysis. It would take me some time to explain it, so I don't want to do it right now. But I use MACD for 2 ways. So for divergence and then for wave counting. Julian, looks like the stuff we're talking about is interesting. People are staying to the end today. Yeah. Oh, it looks like we're down to 2. Yeah. So Sergey, what Julian was just talking about is like for the last I've done in the live stream now. I think this is what at least the 4th one, maybe the 5th one now. And it's just been Julian and I, just me talking and Julian asking questions. I haven't been getting too many people to join the live stream, so he's saying you guys are bringing up topics that are making people want to stay on. Julian, do the contrary of what Kramer says. Yes, good old Jim Kramer. Yeah. That that's exactly like he's the type of person who's gonna just look at a chart and go, oh well, there's support there, so that, if you bought, the price will find support there and you'll get a bounce and, you know, yeah, maybe. Sergey, you better read about this. A lot of explanations. All right. I'm always willing to learn something new. I'll take a look and read up on that. It's worked for you? Julian, well, it's 100% people more from last week. Slow and steady. Yep, that's right. Go from 1 to 2. Maybe next week we'll get 4. Yeah, I got you, Sergey. You've had good success, Sergey, with that? 80% it works? Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, because I'm sure you guys know, but I mean, there's no indicator, there's no oscillator, there's no trading system that works 100%. So, if you ever find someone touting that, run away. Because I love the saying, and I've said it a million times, but if it worked 100% of the time, then everyone would do it and everyone would be rich. So there's nothing out there that works just, but 80%, that's exactly what you want. Well, I appreciate that, Sergey. I'll look into that. Looks like we're down to 1. Just you, Julian, it looks like. I noticed your channel has doubled the amount of subscribers since I subscribed. Oh yeah, you came in at like 200. I think I'm at 4 something. So 200. I'm trying to think how long ago that was. Because I started at the very, when did I start this channel? I think it was the end of October of 22 or the beginning of November. So it's been about a year. Yeah, a little over a year. But it took a long time to get just one person, one subscriber. I mean, I think I did 3 videos and no, not even a subscriber. It took me, I think, 3 videos before I got a view. I was like, oh, I thought there'd be at least some views. Yeah, it takes a long time. Well, I guess if you want to like throw money at creating a YouTube commercial for yourself to advertise, but yeah, I don't want to be doing that. Sergey, at least it avoid to make a negative deposit. Oh, the STC make a, when you say negative deposit, do you mean just like have a negative trade? Avoid to make a negative deposit. Julian, I first started watching your videos for nat gas exclusively, then asked you to put in the Russell. Yeah, I remember that. Then uranium and other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that when I do the videos just on nat gas, that gets the most views. So I do 3 videos a week: the stock market indexes, the commodities, and forex. And but if I do just a video that's titled just nat gas technical analysis, that video, but I mean, like, I'll get hundreds. Like, and one time I even had like 1,300 views for the video just on nat gas. But if I do like the commodities one, like, it doesn't get 1,000 views. It doesn't even, like, so if I have 400 subscribers, I don't even get 400 views for the commodities one. What that includes nat gas. But so yeah, so nat gas I can tell is a very popular asset that retail traders then trade. Even I think it must be more, well, at least the way YouTube is sending out my videos, nat gas is more popular than even the stock market, because my stock market videos only get like a couple hundred views at most. But yeah, the nat gas ones, I can easily get 300 or 400 views. Sergey, yes, negative trade. Do you use seasonality for trading? Yeah, no, I don't. That's funny because Julian asked the same thing a while back. I'm not, so for me, I'm just basically a technical trader. I mean, I try to, I'm always watching like CNBC just to hear the rhetoric, and so I understand what they're all talking about, when it comes to, like, either seasonality or earnings seasons and the impacts of all that. So I understand kind of, I have a somewhat how do I want to say it? Like an appreciation for all the other stuff that's out there, but I basically just do technical analysis. I just look at the chart, and I look at the pattern that the chart is in, whatever asset is that I'm looking at, and just try to decide, like, do I see up or do I see down? Like, what pattern is being played out? Is it in an impulse or is it in a correction? Is the correction almost done? So that's all I really do. I don't look at seasonality or anything. Like, I just look, like, is it time to buy or is it time to sell? And it's just based on the way I use wave analysis, and that's really all I use. But I am aware of, like for oil, like when May comes rolling around here in the U.S., like driving season is upon. I mean, I don't really want to be shorting oil in May or June, but I'm also very much more aware of what pattern oil is in at the time. Julian, and the information provided in your videos tend to work, so I am not leaving. All right. I appreciate that. I have to put your comment on testimonial. Nat gas is a major trading sector, and it's so hard to trade. If you're right, then your information is making people a lot of money. Yep, yep. I can tell by far the videos that I've received negative comments, either about my analysis or just what I'm saying is going to happen. The nat gas videos are by far the ones I get, but actually the most positive or negative comments. So yeah, that one stirs a lot of emotion. I mean, I know recently there's just been a lot of people, like, they can't believe how far net gas has fallen, and especially like the one guy, KC. I can't remember his last name now. KC. He just he's I could tell, like, he's just in shock, like how far this thing has fallen. Even though, like, I've been calling for net gas to fall since May. I didn't see that expanding flat that they made. I thought nat gas was going to continue to fall all throughout the summer, but yeah, I can tell nat gas is definitely a lightning rod for people. The market is all patterns and math, probability. It trades also fundamentals, technicals, and macros. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and for me, I mean, it's the technical part, technical analysis, and using fibs and trying to project target ranges and whatnot. That it just appeals to me, and it just makes a whole lot of sense to me. Nat gas is so volatile. That's why people like to trade it so much. One day you're up 5%, the next day you're negative 15, then sell for a 20% gain. Absolutely. Well, there's a reason why they call nat gas the widow maker. Yeah, it's got to be the most, maybe except for Bitcoin. I think nat gas has got to be the second most volatile asset there is. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the chart, actually, I wanted to talk about this. Let me go to, yeah, I'm on a daily. Yeah, look at since this October 31st high. I mean, like I counted, there were 6 green candles, and except for this one day, November 13th, 6.5% big up move. But all the other green candles, I mean, they all fell within this 0.5% to like 1.5%. Like it's just like look at these big days. Like here's 4.6 down, 2.25 down, 1.9 down, 3.6 down, 2 down, 2 down, another 2. And then you get 5 down, another 5 down. Yeah, I mean, and then but on the upside, I mean, look at it. You had an 8.4%. Then you had these two 6.8 and 4% days up. I mean, it's just there's no other asset that moves like that. Like that kind of percentage gains and losses. It's crazy. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that's why people love it because you could get in and you can make a lot of money in a really short amount of time. I mean, just if I mean, someone up here on October 31st, they sold. Excuse me. They sold. I mean, if they sold and kept it, they're up 32%. You know, that's just in a very short time. I mean, October 31st, it's basically November. So it's like no, not even 6 weeks, about 5 weeks. 5 weeks, and you're up 30, almost 33% if you held. I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to hold it that much. Well, if you can predict range, it's a nice action setup. If we're at the top of the range, then we sell, and then buy at the bottom. It create buy and sell setups. Yep. Looks like Casey McGavin could use the community also. Yeah. Yeah, he made a comment. I forgot something like he couldn't believe how much it was falling, or he said something. I almost replied to him just saying, like, are you not watching my videos? Like, I'm trying to help you, but it's like I don't want to, I don't want to say anything negative about anyone, but like if you're gonna watch my videos, like, don't you must agree to some point that you want to continue to watch my videos. But yet he doesn't seem to think I'm right. I don't know. I just kind of find that interesting. He is a real bull on that gas. Yeah, I think so. I think everyone is, because I remember when we were over here and this low came in. So it was April. And so it was somewhere after that, so maybe in May. And I saw someone create a video on nat gas. I forgot who it was. And or not, I think it was even later. And maybe like mid May or something. And he was just like, yeah, I know the bottom is in, and so now I'm just gonna buy and hold it because we're gonna go up and eventually take out the high up here at 10. And I was just like, I still remember that. I'm like, no, this came down in 3 waves. I'm like, there's no way that we can end on 3 way. And he does Elliott wave, not wave analysis. And I'm like, you're an Elliott wave, like you got to see that that's 3 waves. Like how can you say? And then it started going up and started going up, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm wrong here. And then but then I saw that this AB, and then they were going to do this big C wave was in play, because I thought that this was the start of a diagonal coming down. 1, 2, 3. I thought that was 1, and then they did this 3 wave. I'm like, okay, there's 2, and then they came down really hard, and then they went up. I'm like, okay, that's 1, 2, and then this should be, and then no, and then it went up, and I'm like, what the heck pattern is this? And then when I saw they were making 5 waves, I'm like, oh, this is an expanding flat. I hate those patterns. They're so hard, so hard to see. A real diehard, yeah. But it's easy, isn't it? Like especially for nat gas, when nat gas got down to what 206. Actually, this is just on this on the futures. I know that it broke 220 back here in April. So when it gets down to there, like how can you not want to just say, oh, that's the low? I mean, how much lower can it go? And you just want to buy. Now, if you bought, I mean, as long as you took profit somewhere up here, you did really well. But for the people who are like saying, oh, this is just the beginning, well, I don't think so. All right, so to me, it looks like there's 2 viewers. So I assume it's just Julian and Sergey. So you guys got any other questions here? I'm going to wrap up. If not, Julian, could macro or fundamental affect the way your let me open this thing up here. Ah, there we go. Could macro or fundamental affect the way you read the waves when you miss them? It could. It could. It's when it comes to either wave and Elliott wave or wave analysis, like counting the waves, it's very subjective. Or I mean, it's not even subjective. Because there's always a pattern, and it's just the way, like this big move up. When you're over here, like you don't know what's going to happen, obviously, in the future. So you're just looking at this piece, and some people will think, oh, well, I see 1, 2, and then I see a 1 and a 2, and then this looks like another 1 and a 2. So someone's thinking like you're going to have a 1, 2, and then this is going to be 3, 4, 5, and then you come back, and then you had this 1, 2. So now this all must be 3, 4. So you just, there's several ways to always look at what the count is. And sometimes you get it right and sometimes you don't. So like when I'm wrong, it could be because of macros or fundamental, but it could just be because I thought that this was 1, 2, 3, but it's not. It's just I counted it wrong. So it's just me. So it's not. That's the thing about wave analysis. It's like it's not 100% because it's you and your ability to kind of guess on what is in play. Sergey, guess that ending diagonal for wave 5, Nick. Yes. Yes. Yeah, so if you haven't been following me, that's what I've been calling for, is on nat gas. They came down, this went up in 3 waves, and then this came down in 3 waves. And so back here in April, I remember I made that video somewhere around April 14th, somewhere in the late April. I said, this can't end in 3 waves. So I thought, okay, it's going to be an ending diagonal. And then when they went up in 3, I was like, yep, there's, so that's 1, 2, 3. I thought that was 1, this was 2, and then they were going to come down and break that low for the 3, 4, and 5, and then that would be the low. Like we're making the low for natural gas pretty soon, and then it's just going to be nothing but buy. But I said at the time, I'm like, I am 99. Always have to be 99% positive. You can never be 100%, but I am 99% positive that was 3 waves, and so. You can't come down in 3 waves unless this was a diagonal, and it wasn't. It was an impulse. So this has to be a correction, and if this is an A and this is a B, then you're going to need a 5-wave move for the C wave. And they created a 5-wave much bigger than I thought, because this was 1, 2, 3 for 1, and then was this 1, 2, 3 for 2? No, this was, there's a little 3-wave here for 2, and then that was 3, and then this was 4, and then this was 5. Wait, that doesn't make. Oh yeah. So this was a leading diagonal. So from here, then this is June 26th. That was 5 waves. And I'm like, oh, okay. So here's the A, B, and the C, and then I was expecting this to come down, and they started to. But they came down in a really ugly pattern. It was just a correction. So then they created this as a leading diagonal. So it was 1, 2, 3. That's 1. 1, 2, 3. That's 2. And then they came up here and a 1, 2, 3 for 3. Here was a 1. No, actually it was down here. 1, 2, 3 for 4, and then they created this 1, 2, 3 for 5. So this was an ending diagonal, really big, really long, much bigger than I thought, and it had me tricked a couple of times. I thought this was going to be the point that would fall. Then I thought, well, then when they broke that, then I was like, oh boy, then it's got to be going up in 5 waves and much bigger than I thought. So they made this just big expanding flat. So yeah, sorry Sergey for the long explanation, but yeah, that was an ending diagonal for the C wave. Julian, I remember you saying the waves represent human emotions. How can the market makers predict that? Counting waves is like counting. Black duck it evens the odds. Yeah, so the market makers, they don't, I don't, I mean, I know some people believe it. I don't believe necessarily that the market makers predict the human emotion part, but what they do is, they're always buying and selling and moving the market. And so they will create patterns, based on human emotion, but they know when people are going to be getting excited and wanting to buy, and so they'll push it up, and then they create levels, and that's what these corrections are. They create these levels that, so let me just give an example here. So for the market makers, that because they're moving so much money, they need so much volume. They'll push it up, get everyone excited. So here comes the human emotion part. Everyone, you just created this low here, right? Like they came down, they set that low, okay? And oops, actually I gotta move that down a little. Oh, wait, what happened here? They created that low. Wow, look how close that was. Let me move that line out of the way. So let me just show you. I just find this stuff fascinating here. So they came down, right? They came down, pushed it down, pushed it down, pushed it down to this level here, which is 2.062. All right. Then they spiked it up pretty aggressively. But then they came down one more time to run the stops. So they got people excited, but then they pushed it down one more time. Literally 261. So 263 versus 261, like barely just broke that low. Okay. Then what did they do? Then big spike up. Just, 3 straight days of just green, big gap, everything, like, so now you got people going, oh, that low is in. And so then they got to give a correction. So now they're pushing the market, even though people are buying, and then you spike it up. Oops. They spike it up to break that high. So anyone who is still shorting, thinking like, oh, this is just a correction up, and then we're going to go back down, where are they putting their stop loss? They're putting their stop loss up in here. So then they spike it just to take out these people who started the short. And now you got people who are like, oh, we have a higher high. So that's another thing, just like you were talking about with support and resistance. That's another thing I always hear people, oh, we have a higher high. So you came up, you corrected, now you have a higher high. So now that's total bullishness, right? Oh, everyone's getting excited. So what do the market makers do? They spike it down really way down here. So now you had a lot of stop losses that were sitting underneath those lows, because all these people who bought, especially when all these people who buying up here, you broke that high, it's looking like it's just total upside. Their stop losses are sitting down here. So it's human emotion, because the market makers are creating these levels of where stop losses are, and then they run the price to run them, because they're trading like mega amounts of money. So they can't just let the market go crazy. They can't just let it just go without creating these little levels so that they can get their buy orders down here filled and sell orders up here filled. So it's like they're just constantly doing this kind of stuff. So that's when I say human emotion, like that's what is happening is, they know where people are going to get excited, so they'll let the market go up, but then they got to correct it and create these levels where they know there'll be stop losses, and then they'll run it down, even though then they just turned it right back up. So that's what I mean by human emotion. Sorry for taking that so long, but that's what I just find so fascinating. And then if you ever heard of like smart money concept, that's a whole trading methodology, and I like that one too. I like, and that's what they talk about a lot, is they know where the market makers are targeting, based on levels and where stop losses are, and so that kind of stuff makes a lot of sense to me. But I have a good understanding of the smart money concept, but I don't really apply it a whole lot. But I mean, I with Elliott wave and with wave analysis, I mean, it's almost, they're very similar, because you're always targeting tops and bottoms. So when they come up and they create that, and then you get a correction, the next target is to go and break the top, so, and that'd be the same thing like with a smart money concept. So I don't know, I feel like I'm getting long-winded here. Let me go back here. Let's see. I looked at counting waves is like, reading. Guess the ending reading. Sergey, if you're still here, let me just take a look and see if anyone's still. Oh, we got 3 people now. Wow, we got someone joining us this late. All right. Sergey, reading. Not exactly sure what you meant by that, Sergey, reading. Sorry. Julian, that's when support and resistance come in handy. They are major supply and demand zone. Supply and demand I like, not support and resistance. Retests give you some odds of where the price is heading if you can mix it in with the waves. Yep. Perhaps it gives you even more odds to know where the price is going. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, guys. Any final questions here? I guess this is it for me today. Thanks for the live stream. It was really informative. Sergey, do you use VIX put call ratio for sentiment reading? Sergey, I don't use the VIX or the put call, but I am keenly aware of them, especially the VIX. Like, I mean, I know, the thing has just been sitting at 13. So I have always a general sense of where that is at, just to give me an idea of sentiment, just like you're talking about. And, and so anytime it gets that low, obviously I'm always just looking and going, wow, that's getting awfully low for a really extended period of time. And so I just like it as like not even an additional tool, just like an additional way of me looking at the charts. And when I'm counting the waves and going, for me, like the S&P and the Nasdaq, I'm seeing them, well, especially the S&P, I'm seeing them ending a fifth wave very soon. And so to me, I just look at that, I'm able to kind of validate like my thought, or not my thought, but my wave counting, and go, yeah, if we're ending five waves, what's going to happen? There's going to be a correction, a pullback. And so if the VIX is this low for this long, like it, that's not normal, right? I mean, the VIX should be pumping up a little bit, at least to 15 or 18, or if not 20. So to me, I just kind of, just nice for me to, when I can like look at both of those and go, all right, I think the S&P is due for a pullback, and I think the VIX needs to get up from 13. So just from that point of view, I use it, but I'm not looking at it, and I don't count waves on the VIX or anything like that. I just have an awareness of where it's at. Julian, enjoy your weekend, sir. I'll stay to see your take on the VIX. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so that's how I use. And then same thing with the put call ratio. Like I'm always aware of, when it gets to the extremes, and just to know that, like the saying, like when everyone's on one side of the boat, that's when you need to switch over to the other side. So yeah, I just use those as just a way to give me better confidence that I'm seeing the wave count correctly. Thanks for the answers. You are welcome. Well, Julian and Sergey, I really appreciate you guys joining today and giving me this idea of creating some kind of community. I will definitely look into this and think about how I would work that out. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I just got to give it some thought, because like I said, like, I it is my job throughout the day. I'm just, that's how I got to make money. So I couldn't be on the community site all day. I do have to be monitoring the charts and everything, but I like the idea. I'm going to definitely give it a lot of thought. So with that, guys, I'm going to sign out. I will see you guys in the next videos, and I will definitely let you guys know how I will work this community thing, what my thoughts are on it anyway. So appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Good luck to you guys, and we'll talk soon. All right. Bye.